let's do this. What's up, y'all? My name is Phil, and today with the MYU on the podcast, we got Steve and Sammy. And as you can see, we're doing a Zoom meeting because someone's got the sniffles, eh? Mr. Headset over there.
I just feel crappy. I'll be honest with you, all around. But for those that are listening on Spotify, Steve and then Sam, what if they're not watching us? They don't see us.
Well, they can tell the difference between a Zoom call and like a face-to-face, you know?
Yeah. Say hello, Sam.
Hi, everyone. Sam right here.
Sam, how was your weekend?
My weekend was the most interesting one. I got my happy feet going. Super happy about that. Shout out to Matt. Happy birthday again to you. And definitely had the best time at Coachella. Yeah, I got my foot. I checked my steps, and it's in the 20,000s.
You did over 20,000 steps on Saturday.
Yeah, and I didn't have my bag the whole time, which is crazy.
How did you know you did 20,000 steps?
So I had it with me at parts of it, but I did over 20,000 steps somehow over the course of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Thanks, Matt, for my well-being and my health.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and Steve, what'd you get up to yesterday? Were you just in recovery mode?
Yesterday actually was not bad. Went down to Kennedy Town. Had to scope out the area.
That's right. Some news might be coming, right?
We'll see. Huh?
Is there a secret to be told soon?
No, it's not really a secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but yeah, opportunity popped up to move yet again. That would be like the fourth place in 4 years for me.
That's okay. That's all right.
Moving to Kennedy Town, to our side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our side.
Do it.
They say the West Coast is the best coast, but that's about California.
Well, Steve, if you need help moving, I'm happy to pitch in.
Oh, no, God.
Hi, Max. Help Steve move.
Yeah. No, I told it's a long story, but I basically said, I'm not touching a damn thing if we have to move. Like, somebody's taking care of it. It's not going to be me.
Fair enough.
Samantha, maybe give him tips on your system, you know?
Oh, man, let's go back. You go room by room and you box everything and you label it. Actually, just label everything. And this is the time you do what? You purge. You purge your damn garbage that you've been hoarding, things that you have had it for a year you haven't touched. Chuck it. It's garbage.
Gotta chuck it.
Gotta chuck.
Yeah.
I vividly remember my last two moves since they were so recent. So I didn't forget. I've painful memories.
Oh man, but your place is so nice right now. Yeah. Oh man. Sam, what did you learn today from Reddit or just life in general?
I think I am perpetually I think what I've learned today is that actually no, I've learned this every time I do a new project. I think this somehow never ceases to amaze me. But every time there's a button or there's a function on a website or something you click in a mobile app, there's so much thought that goes into it. It is mind-boggling how many layers of decision you actually have to make that button do what it's supposed to do. And so today, just realizing, when you're trying to do a payment process, if there's a credit system versus actual cash payment, there's a whole different flow that goes into it. And that was just it was just mind-boggling again to me because the projects I've worked on have an actual cash payment. This is a consideration for having, let's say, 10 credits and one credit could be for one service or two. But then you have people that are like, oh no, but that's charging too much and one too little. And then there's a whole other backdrop of customer service and customer considerations that comes in. So yeah, it's always it's always learning on my job.
When you say cash payment, like I always thought, this is weird. When we first had cell phones and we had the prepaid card and people were like, I need to put money in my phone. I was like 9 or whatever, right? I thought you physically put money Is that your phone? I was like,
Steve's like, not a brand.
Steve's like, oh, bro, you can't do that.
Steve, your nostrils are flaring.
No, I was looking for something that I learned today, and I overheard that bizarre part of the conversation.
So like you get your coins, you get your okay. I'm gonna put $5, like 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just like somehow dump it into your phone. That's not how you do it.
Well, if you wanted a piggy bank, you should have told me. I would have bought you one.
Yo, low key, I used to have a jar. And I used to put like any like foreign currency or and I'd build up an amount so that I could like travel to like different places. And the last place I did that was when I went to Alaska in 2015. It's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Steve, what did you learn today?
I just learned that Florida is the only place on Earth where crocodiles and alligators coexist.
That is a really random fact.
Did you know?
No, but I mean, I guess I knew passively because when I've gone to Florida, you go to those like those excursions, right?
I always just assumed that where there was crocs, there was gators.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were separate.
No.
Yeah. They're actually, crocodiles and alligators are as far apart in terms of species as cats and dogs. Like they're not the same.
Are you sure they're not like cousins?
No, they're not cousins. Like they're literally like cat and dog. Like same like mammalia or reptilian, and then they branch off and like it's crazy. Yeah.
Can a crocodile and alligator?
Oh, this is kind of interesting. It's also this kind of talks about branding, right? We assume things with branding because of what we apply, like frame of reference of what we talk about. So because they look alike, we assume they're related.
Just judgmental, completely judgmental today.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Wow,
today we're talking about personal brands, yeah, and that's an awesome segue, Sammy, into what a personal brand is. So I'll just bring up the notes here. So whether we are conscious words, Phil. Whether we are conscious of it or not, we project an image of ourselves into the world. Like crocodiles present themselves as badass, and gators are just annoying, right? No, they're not. Gators are cool. Much love to the alligator community out there. And so, how aware are we of this image, and how can we cultivate this image to our own benefit? So today we're going to be talking about the personal brand idea, and what it means for us to have personal brands or a certain type of personality. And to start with, whilst I was doing my research today, I came across this quote by Oscar Wilde, and he said, "Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool."
Right. You're right.
Yeah. What is a personal brand for you? What does that mean to you, Sam?
That's a loaded question. I think it's hard to say.
Very straightforward question.
I mean, personal branding. There's so many facets in our life, right? There's work, there's personal, there's being a daughter, there's being someone's best friend, there's someone's being everything. All the roles that you play. I think there's a similarity across all of it, but I think we do wear a different mask, or whether or not we admit it, there are different values that we apply for different roles that whom we are.
Right.
Baselines. So when it comes to personal branding, I think for me, my personal brand somehow has just always been Energizer Bunny. That's since day one. Anyone's met me, I've literally been called that so many times. That's I project energy, I project positivity, and I project so much warmth. But then on the flip side, there is a sloth me where it's just like I just tune out and I'm dead for days. But what I think also is important to realize, I think it's also your value system that comes across in your personal branding.
Yeah.
So say that would mean having integrity, being honest, and being kind at all times, whoever I am. So yeah, I mean, there's work where I can be a dragon lady apparently because I'm a bit. I can be a little direct, but that doesn't mean I'm not kind, right? So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of going around in a circle now. What about you, Steve? What do you think? What's your personal brand?
Yeah, good question. I originally when this topic came up in the MYU chat, I thought it was going to be more like, what is our public digital online presence like, right? But it's not. We're going deeper.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's so layered that that is actually part of it. You know,
Yeah.
as Sam said, she is an assassin because she can kill them, but she'll kill them with kindness, Miss Dragon Lady. And so whether you do that in the comments, because you guys should comment down below, or you do that in the workspace, I think, or even on Instagram, you know, like I think it's what I'm really trying to ask, or what Sam and I are trying to ask is like, what does it mean to you?
Right. I think, yeah, when I think about it, I definitely think about how we represent ourselves like digitally. How do you want to present yourself in search of opportunity, I suppose. But I actually struggle. I'll be honest with you guys. I struggle with the concept of seeing myself from a bird's eye. Like I think I'm able to self-reflect, but I have difficulty understanding how other people would perceive me. I like really hard. It's tough. It's really tough. There's who you
We
want
know,
to be and who
we
you
know.
who you think you are, and then who you just are. Um, but I would say if at face value, if I was to answer this question, personal brand is how does one represent themselves, uh, you know, to the world, or try to, at least from like a marketing perspective.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good lead in into to my definition, which would be that, which is the way you market yourself to the world. You can say the internet could be one way. It's the way we stay in touch the most, and the way I stay in touch the most, especially because my family and my friends are all over the place. So my internet image is such that I do want to appear like you, Sam, like an Energizer Bunny, fun, always down to do stuff, always looking for the next adventure. But I think today I'm trying to redefine what that personal brand is for me. And really, a brand is just the image you portray and the association that people perceive with this image. Right? That's what a brand would be. You see the golden arches, and you think, ba da 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 da,
Yeah.
freaking sponsorship.
I think it's all I think Steve, like what's cool you mentioned about the whole digital aspect with Instagram and influencers in our market now. That's actually exactly what it is. It's being an influencer, someone who has position to make comments or authoritative comments or decisions because of their branding. There's the trust that actually comes into play for that, right? Or like experts. I think that's also a type of personal branding. So it's not like the digital, definitely it's very, very broad spectrum.
Yeah.
I think, Phil, you said you're redefining yours, yeah?
Yeah, man. Would you like me to go on, or you can ask a question?
I was in between. I was like in between two routes. I was like, do I perceive? I was gonna say, yeah, I'm asking the question. I told you guys today, I'm out of it. That's a question for you, bud, on a silver platter.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out the homie Fran. He said personal brand is more about your personality, right?
Yeah.
And Sam, you mentioned strengths and values, your professional vision, your passions, that sort of idea of who you are. And I think the whole NYU experience for me has been this ebbing and flowing, and this back and forth, this push and pull between who I thought I was, who I want to be, and who I'm realizing I am. And so my personal brand has always been just, someone who's always a go-to guy, I've tried to push myself and like present that image, a reliable source. But I'm finding that people really they, I wouldn't say appreciate, but they chase reliability, but don't give it credit. A good example is, Sam, what car did you have when you were living in New York? What car did you drive?
I had a Honda Accord V6.
Honda Accord. Hondas are great cars. They are reliable. They are insane. They are just like, if you want to buy a car, buy a Honda Accord.
Yeah. Huh.
But you don't see people flexing on Honda Accords. You know what I mean? Like they don't. You're not going to show up, to the club or to the bar in your Honda Accord and look the part, right?
I did.
Yeah, but you're a girl. You can like you already like elevate. Like you're not going to drive down the streets of Monaco in a Honda Accord. You know what I mean? And so I found myself being reliable and trustworthy and turned to, but it often took a lot out of me because I wasn't getting the necessary satisfaction in what my brand was displaying. And so now I'm realizing that in the middle here, I'm learning that my brand isn't actually what I want it to be in the future. So I'm kind of going through a redefinition process right now because yes, I was reliable. Unfortunately, I don't think that I can be that much longer because in all honesty, you have to take care of yourself, and if a lot of people want to, let's say, if you're the head of the library club and you're the head of the
Library club,
book club, right? And like you have all these accolades, all these things where people are relying on you. Eventually, you burn out, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing right now. Just this complete burnout, and now I'm just sitting there looking at all the ways I've portrayed myself. I'm just like, maybe I should redefine myself.
I think okay. Like for this, like the whole rebranding thing, perhaps it's not rebranding yourself of being a go-to guy. It's actually being more selective of who you're the go-to guy for. I mean, if there's 100 of us coming to you at the same time and you're always trying to give as much, there's limitation to that. So I think it's maybe reframing and thinking about who you're being that go-to guy for. Like there's only so much energy we all have and expand. I mean, I can be at a party and I can dance around 30 people. I can seem like an Energizer Bunny, but I cannot give 30 people the same kind of attention I would be to you or to you, Steve, in a conversation, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
All of it's rebranding. I think it's just us limiting. It's kind of tightening up your circle. It's different because you're always gonna be the go-to guy, Phil. Like Phil, like I know you'll be there for me. I know you'll be there for Steve. You will.
He's telling you he might not.
Well, I don't think you have a choice. I know
he warned you. You know what? I'm placing my bets. Place your bets now. This is Phil's way of taking a break on the show now after the end. He's like, guys, having said that, I need to step away from the show.
For a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe Skippy could come on the show. He's got a lot of rough life to talk about.
Hey, I heard that someone might have adopted Pup.
I know that girl. I saw her.
I'm really sad. They decided not to, and personally, I've decided to ask them to find him a foster home. I can't take care. He's getting too big. He's too big for the pen, and I can't leave him out in the living room because he's starting to bite the walls. Otherwise, he's totally fine. Pees and poos everywhere, perfectly fine. Just likes to dig a hole.
Dan will kill us if we don't add context to who the hell Skippy is.
Oh, right, Skippy.
And you guys, you just stuck on Skippy. Who's Skippy? The audience, who's Skippy?
I will throw a picture in.
Yeah, we will put Skippy's. Maybe we're gonna put Foster Pup on MYU. That's gonna be content.
Yeah.
Low key plug, Sam. Could you tell us about this foster program for the listeners out there looking for a pup?
Yeah. So for Hong Kong, there's a great place called HK Paws. They rescue puppies from the mountainside, gutter, wherever, and then they provide foster homes for them and are all
the mountainside, gutter, wherever.
I mean, just wherever they find the puppies, right? Try and find them a home. And I've been fortunate to work with them a couple of times to do a fundraiser and sell secondhand clothes and raise money for them. they pay for all the medicinal bills from that from their own pockets, and then the puppies they get sent to foster home until they find their forever home. So
Yeah.
Except in
puppy.
this case. Oh god. I just heard
Oh,
myself
guys,
flirt out there. It's great.
Please, someone adopt these dogs.
Skippy.
You know, they're out there. No, Skippy. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But yes, adopt the dogs, and we need more people to have pets because they really lift you up, and that might help me rebrand my image.
A
You can see
dog
with
would
a
be
dog,
great for you.
right?
You great.
Yeah.
Get Skippy. Get Skippy. Skippy!
Thinking about it. Can you change the name of a dog?
Yeah, you could change it. Skippy's his foster name.
You guys ready?
Ah, yeah. Oh, there it is. Wow.
Boom. That's your dog.
Wow. Oh my gosh. He's so cute.
Look at him. Look
He's
at
so
him.
cute.
You're so
Hey, buddy.
And he likes to hug. See?
If only Dan could see us right now. Guys.
Ah, interesting.
Circle
That's
back
crazy.
to branding.
Sorry, Sam, what was that?
So we circle back to personal branding.
Circle back. Bring it back.
We never left. We never left.
we never left. The
We,
dog.
We're still
part of it.
there. Steve, what impact? What is the impact you want your personal brand to have in your work or your field? Like,
Okay.
if you
Yeah. The more
would you
we,
say that right now? So I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Finish the question. I'm digging where you're going.
Would you say that who you're coming across as now, entrepreneur yourself, now with your own company, working in a startup, working in multiple startups, this person who you have portrayed, someone who can take the initiative and start a business and run through a project, is that extending into your work as well?
Okay. When I thought about this show, as you guys were talking about it, and when I came to the show, I was like, personal branding. How do you want to portray yourself online for the purpose of marketing? But when we go to like this sort of layer of depth, I'll be honest with you guys. I think that my genuine self, who I really am deep down, has stopped serving me well in mostly professional life. Personal, maybe not so much, but definitely professional. And I realized about maybe a year ago now for sure, that if I really want to get to a place I want to be, I have to sort of suppress that person, that real version of Steve. It's not who I really, it's not serving me. So to answer your question, I think this is going back a few episodes as well. I can't remember exactly which one, but my spidey senses are tingling. Something about real self. I would definitely say, Philip, I was thinking about it on the way home. I can grind. I am a person that can just like pull up my boots and grind, and I can do that. That's not something I enjoy doing, but my real self, I think, is someone who's a little bit just like happy-go-lucky, maybe sometimes borderline lazy. I do like to joke a lot, and that sense of humor doesn't really get you very far in the professional world. It just doesn't. So a lot of this is a facade when I in business life, and it's tough. It really is tough. It keeps me up at night. It does.
Wow, interesting, eh? Well, we are going deep today.
Yeah. You know, I always go deep.
That's it.
I never hold back for them.
Wow. Okay.
I find that so interesting because for me, I think professionally, for at least my last few roles, even in auditing, because I joke around, I think that's how I won my audience over. And when I say audience, I mean people I work with. But like I remember when I first started my career, I was very like, I need to be in a full on suit. I can't laugh too much. I can't be happy in the office. And then now I've just come to a point, I'm like, I will make a joke in the middle of a meeting if I need to, because I don't have an answer in my head. That get myself more time. So sometimes when I joke, it's because I don't have an answer for you.
Right. No, it for sure. It's definitely a positive attribute. What it can take you far, especially given depending on the role, it could take you very far. Like maybe in sales or something, but it also has its limits, right? And in my personal trajectory, I've hit some certain limits. Let's just say for the business, guerrilla weekend kind of stuff, I need to be a firm, I need to be a steady, solid partner who can like think and keep my cool in situations that are new for both of us, or at least myself, or at least her. The joking, the sense of humor, it doesn't get me anywhere. It falls flat all the time. So I have to be very stern
her?
with Janice, for example, because that's not going to help the business, right? You're looking for strategic steadiness, leadership, right? And then in my other business, it did get me very far for a certain period of time. It helped me grow relationships with a lot of the young staff, but at the same time, that sort of came back to bite me in the last 6 to 8 months, because I gained more and more responsibility, and people still sort of saw me as this like buddy Steve, almost like the nice uncle or the good dad. Um, and I was realizing I needed to push people harder outside their comfort zone. And if I did, they would treat me like I was their brother, or their like I would joke like, I'm not your freaking boyfriend, right? Like you can't give me the cold shoulder on text if I told you you could do better next time. So I realized, you know what?
You said that to Janice.
No. I'm sorry. This was for my startup job. Um,
I know.
there was certain people, that I had relationships with over a couple of years that it was too friendly, joking, light sense of humor, and I hit a ceiling with that because it's true. You really do need to have a degree of separation between people at some point. So yeah, I think I've outgrown my natural. I've out my anything to do with me in business right now is outgrown the Steve you might see at Matchella.
So I mean that's awesome. So it sounds like the other part of your personal brand is that you want to come off as authoritative and no longer a friend, like authoritative or firm and respected, and not just be taken as like a buddy where they take it for granted.
I don't want to. I have to, which is why it's so confusing and frustrating and tiring. Is because the person I want to be, the type of, let's just say we were talking about personal branding from like a LinkedIn article or a blog or a YouTube persona. The person I want to be on those channels is closer to probably here, but that's not going to serve me. As a matter of fact, that might actually hurt me now. I kind of have an idea of this archetype that would serve me better, but I don't know really how to be that person. So it's confusing.
You know what's funny? You've heard you. I mean, I'm sure all of us have seen this at one point or another. Devil Wears Prada, and the Dragon Lady. I mean, the main character, like her branding is just like she had the entire office just terrified. And I think that's a very extreme case and obviously dramatized version of it. But there are women that I've worked with that does have that kind of pull. And it's crazy because it's sorry, it's not crazy. It's very interesting because then that was like 10 years ago when, being a woman, it's still very hard for us in the workplace. So when the branding comes along, if we're moody, then we're not, then we're being a woman. If we're this or we're not being this. But then there's such a fine, like there's authoritative and there's just being mean. And obviously in the show, she was just mean. But yeah, like it's that weird balance. It's interesting, I think.
I think maybe more like, I'm not comparing myself at all to Don Draper, but I think maybe like a Don Draper would be. That's like really old school, right?
That is from that show Mad Men, right?
Mad Men, yeah. He's like likable and he, drinks and parties and stuff, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure. See, I can't even articulate it. I can't even explain it. That's how unfamiliar I am with it. But
so is that something you want to be or something you currently see yourself as?
I don't like it's actually Don Draper hasn't popped in my head till this moment when I was trying to think of like who is a good, not Devil Wears Prada woman, but who would be a good example. It's hard to say, right?
See, but we're talking from experience and not expertise, because if we knew everything, we wouldn't be going through right now.
It's something you observe. It's because it's very human, right? Like I think leadership and human and social economics are very integrated. So we observe these things and we see patterns and certain archetypes and characters in our lives, and we identify where they fit in society, right? Where the hierarchy is. I mean, you see traits like this in someone like Barack Obama. Like the dude knows how to crack a smile and tell a joke, but at the same time, he knows how to, I bet you when he was disappointed, the door closes, people were shivering. I fucked up. So you see it, you observe it, but it has to be natural. You have to practice it. You have to live it, and it's out of my comfort zone to an extent. So yeah,
Ooh.
Wow, that just wow.
So in 3 words, Steve, how would you describe your personal brand so far?
I'm in right now to date till 2021. I was happy being expressing myself however I wanted to on social media, a couple YouTube videos here and there, just joking, silly kind of stuff. And that was fine, but it wasn't really getting me anywhere. And it's a lot of extra work to do these sort of things. And then I realized this year that it's got to be a little bit more calculated, a little bit more responsible, a little bit more accountable, well thought. You know, it's a point where when you achieve a certain degree of success, it could have been luck, but man, once you hit this threshold, you can't just rely on luck anymore. You're like, shit, if I want to keep this going, I really need to figure out what the hell's going on here.
Wow. Okay.
So that was in 3 words. I don't know how to say it in 3 words.
Okay.
He got lucky. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Man, you just dumped so much, and I just want to keep digging. Samantha, scalpel, please. Let me wipe your brow while you dig for. Wow, no, dude, that's maybe something we can look at working on this week. You know, just sort of like working our way towards that, because I mean, as you mentioned, Sam, we're about experience, not expertise, and yeah, maybe we should all work towards figure out what brand we want to be. You know, like when. Like we all know McDonald's. We all know McDonald's. We all know, you know, the big names, Coca-Cola and all these big guys, and they've had to figure out their identity, their branding, right? How they portray themselves, rather how they sell themselves, right? And I remember reading this book. This book is called "To Sell Is Humans," and one of the quotes from it is. Let me preface it like this. So, to sell is human. We're always selling something. I will sell my you know a night out so we can go have a beer. I'll say, hey Steve, let's go have a beer, and we can do this, that. We can do all these things. Hey Sam, we're gonna go do a hike this weekend because this is that. And so to sell. When you're selling something, you want to provide a service to someone, and you want to not only provide a service, but provide a service that people benefit through their lives. The quote is, this is what it means to serve: improving another's life and in turn improving the world. Now, of course, this guy is literally talking about like sales, right? Like going door to door, whether you're selling, you know, iHerb or, you know, a Honda Accord. When it comes to branding, we are with ourselves, we're trying to sell to each other. Yeah. Like we're trying to tell the audience, hey guys, watch us because we are not talking. We don't have it figured out. We're just kind of stumbling our way through this whole thing, you know. And you know, I feel bad for the people who click the video and then they'll say, wait, these guys didn't really talk about anything. They just kind of talked about it in general. And I'm like, well, that's it. That's exactly sometimes what you got to do, because as you mentioned, Steve, you didn't know what you were until like an hour ago, right? Until we started having this conversation. And so I think that's a really good place to be in, but it's not a place to stay in.
No.
And so I think I have a challenge for us this week.
Interesting.
Yes.
Give us a challenge, Uncle Phil.
Come up with your own
Before
jingle.
I do that, when you meet someone, like, what impression do you? 3-parter. When you meet people, what impression did they have of you? What impression, or like in the past? No, wait, hang on. It's a 2-part question. When you meet people with your personal brand, what impression did they have of you? And in the future, what impression do you want them to have of you? Sammy, you're up.
I think mine is always high energy. I think I would like to keep that, but I would like to add that high energy but balanced.
Mhm.
Because I often than not when I meet people, they do ask me, what do I do to recuperate? Because of the way I carry myself, they're always like, you must burn out. I'm like, I actually don't burn out often, but when I do, it takes me, I need a full day, 2 days completely to myself off the grid, because I do exert a lot of energy without knowing. So I would hope
Mm.
it's a high level of energy with balance. Yeah. Not on the brink of burnout. Right, Skippy?
Balanced energy. Oh,
Balanced energy.
for myself, I think I would I will I've given off the impression, Stephen, this is something you mentioned over the weekend,
Mm.
kind of distant,
Yeah.
kind of distant but reliable, kind of like a that superhero that Deus Ex Machina into the scene. Maybe not superhero, but
You
like
could have it.
the,
Yeah,
the
what
cavalry
superhero?
coming in. Like you watch these movies, or like Game of Thrones or all these shows, and then like the cavalry comes in, and you're like, yo, where were these dudes at the beginning? Like
The Riders of
you could have
Rohan.
just, yeah, man,
What?
just sorted, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I've noticed myself. That's the brand that I've given off, this sort of distant, sort of reliable, will be there for you, but will rarely be there for you. You know what I mean? Reliable, but not reliable in terms of like getting the job done, but not reliable in terms of like consistency.
I think that's an
And
axiom.
yeah, I think in the future, moving from here, I think I want to be someone who's a bit more balanced, as you said, Sam, and I think just a little more open, but to select people, as mentioned, selected people. You know, yeah.
I like
All right,
that.
Stevie.
Oh, okay. I like that, Philip. That was good. That was deep. Um, in the past, there was a very long period of time where I came off. My first impression game was terrible. Probably still is. And yeah, I don't know. I just assumed like I felt like I was being nice in my heart, but the way I projected myself was different. And then people would get sus real quick. Who's this guy? What's his
Yeah.
MO? And then I would ask a lot of people. Like in relationships I was having, I'd ask girlfriends like, why does like so and so John not like me, or why does what's Stephanie's problem with me? And then I'm like, I'm so nice to them, and they'd be like, they oh, you think you're being nice, but you actually look like a jerk. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I embraced that for a time, but then now I do try to make a more considered effort to present myself, the person I want to be perceived as, is a little bit more genuine. Um, yeah, I want people to know I have a senses of humors, but at the same time, not a pushover. I think that's very important at this point in life. Don't want to be taken advantage of. So that balancing between like, hey, I'm a nice, friendly, affable guy, but at the same time, don't take advantage, don't take me for granted, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think you can kind of guess what today's challenge will be, this week's challenge will be. Leaning off last week's challenge, Sam, you asked the universe to write 3 positive statements that are kind to yourself and what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
How did we do this week?
Well, for me, I wrote daily. I was grateful for my friends. I did say daily. I was very grateful for my well-being, as in, it's not even just about training. It's like I haven't been able to go to gym, but I still feel very strong, and it's because I'm still eating well. I'm well balanced, and then I'm just grateful the universe knows how to tickle my stress levels, but somehow always finds a way to give me reward for it. So something big happened. Something happened this weekend where I was worried I wouldn't be able to overcome, and a solution came. So I was grateful for that.
It was you didn't think that you'd be able to give Skippy away until Phil said he would adopt him.
Yes,
We all win.
we got Skippy at home. We got Skippy at home.
Oh my days. Pressure.
What are you gonna name him, Phil?
I fear that I won't be able to live up to this glitter on my face. I fear that I won't be able to live up to the necessary requirements. For instance, I'm thinking the name. I've always wanted to have a dog's name be Agamemnon, but
Agamemnon. Why?
yeah,
Oh, he's
maybe
a
like
horrible human being.
a
Or
really
should-
great king, a warlord,
Right. Warlord.
or Buddy, because I just watched Love and Monsters, and I think Buddy for a name is
I
incredible.
think but he would answer to Buddy. He barely answers to Skippy. He'll answer to
Buddy.
Buddy.
Could you get any
Yeah.
more generic?
It's like dog, like people name their dogs
Spot.
Dog. Yeah,
Hey,
like that.
Spot.
It's kind of cool.
Come,
Hey, this is
Spot.
Buddy. Yeah. So this week's challenge, guys, I want us to kind of take a look at ourselves and figure out which direction, what brand we want to be, what mask we want to wear that is truly our own. You know, as Oscar Wilde statement says, man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he'll tell you the truth. So I think there's a beauty to that, because we do kind of become more ourselves when we're not talking about ourselves, you know. So this week, you guys in the universe as well, I want us to just sort of figure out what exactly we want to pursue, you know, for the next month. That's it, right? A direction we want to go in. I'm thinking of being more boring. I really am. I'm gonna say no a lot more, and yes only to the things that I want to attend. And so, you know, it's not gonna be me forever, but I think that will at least help me figure out a direction as to where I want to go based on those three, you know, the three brands that I had. The one who I am that I look back at now and I'm like, nah, I don't like that, and I want to be the third one, right? So yeah, that's the challenge this week.
Come on, I'm in.
What's new in the NYU? Where can people find us, Steve?
People can find us. You can find us on YouTube. Look up MidYouth Universe. MidYouth, one word, no space. Otherwise, you'll get some artists we've never heard of before. You can find us on Spotify, MidYouth Universe, RSS feed. You don't need to watch us. You just got to listen to us in our soothing voices, but you probably want to watch us because we all look pretty cool. And you can find us on IG, MidYouth Universe, which we need to keep posting because we haven't been. Oh boy.
Yeah, man. Hopefully next week we can all once again be together in the studio. But you know, just take it easy. You don't always want to put pressure on each other. Yeah. Sam, you want to sign off for this one?
Yeah. So I mean, I think Steve just wrapped us up, but looking forward to next week's episode. Make sure to check in, tune in, comment, and let us know what you think. All right.
Good days, y'all. Bye.
So long.